members. This is episode 3 of season 2 of House of the Dragon we're talking about, and they called it Battle of the Burning Mill, which is what I wanted to call it, but I don't want to copy them, so I'm going to go with Old Feuds and Old Friends, because you don't really see the battle, but we'll get to that in a minute. They tastefully do that a little bit differently. They don't really show it to you, but they fucking show you the aftermath.
Oh yeah. And it's actually kind of brief. I thought it was a little weird that they called it that because
it's very brief. They didn't show it to you.
Yeah.
They just you know what happens and you see the aftermath. Even you were like, Jesus.
Yeah,
you watched the Tiege.
Bloody.
I was just thinking about that. That's how medieval warfare was. They were just at a certain point stepping on each other's dead bodies, trying to hit each other and then get hit.
They show you in the Battle of the Bastards, like when he almost dies, he almost gets like suffocated from bodies. The wall of dead bodies.
They're all killing each other on the outsides of him and falling into him into a big pile.
Yeah, that gave me like
anxiety.
Yeah, I'm like, oh god. But they do update the intro on this episode.
Yes, they did. They did update the intro, like we were talking about. They said they were going to, but they hadn't yet. They do show blood and cheese.
Well, they show the rat catchers hanging, and then they show the dead body of the kid, like the ceremony they had.
And it's a little different because it's cool because it doesn't give you a prediction. It tells you what happened last, but it doesn't give you like, oh, this is exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, in the books, this was pretty interesting too. In the book, I keep saying books, but this was only one of the books. But that they were a big, long feud for a long time, and it was kind of described as they just used this as an excuse.
Do you think, because we're at this scene with the Brackens and the Blackwoods, and do you think that either one of these is from the original fight that we saw in the first season when she was going on her tour?
Wasn't that the little Blackwood kid?
Yeah.
The one that disemboweled? Yeah. I think it was, because the dude was in yellow that was calling him a stupid cunt and shit like that. He was wearing yellow.
And it didn't say what happened to him, really, the Blackwood guy.
No. It was just like, sheath your blade. Stupid.
But it definitely shows the Bracken kid.
Get disemboweled, pretty much.
Yeah. At least a spear through the neck. But the Blackwoods are the Rhaenyra supporters.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice, because it's supposed to be Team Black.
Yeah. Know? And you got Brackens, and it's all based on, rumors. Like they said, it doesn't matter what she did or didn't do.
Yeah.
It's already, these people, this whole clan, this whole family is dedicated to the fact that she killed a baby, and that's fucking horrible.
Yeah, and it's just and then the other guy says that he's like, oh, your uncle or whatever, your father or uncle or whatever swore to Aegon. He's like, he's a fucking pretender, dude.
Yeah, and then just cuts to this kid impaled through the throat with a sword. It's just sitting there. And then it
was a sword. It wasn't a spear. Nice.
Which means whoever got him, somebody got.
They left his sword.
Or he left his sword.
A big-ass sword, too.
I wonder if he got gotten, like, right after that. Someone, slices him in the back. Because it's not like...
But this is all you really get to see of the battle.
Yeah.
It's just it pans up, there's like dead horses in the water, and then just massive bodies for, you look at like...
miles. At least a mile.
Like 100 acres, at least.
Oh, and then the sad burial of the twins. And Rhaenyra's boy is cursing him. The one saying he's
desecrating the grave of his brother.
Yeah. She's like, you can't blame him for fulfilling his oath.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was just doing his duty or
he
whatever.
Did what he swore to do. He swore to do what they said, and they said to come kill me, so. I'm more pissed at the people that did it.
Yeah. Can you point out me which one you're talking about there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Rhaenys, which is really awesome that they're giving her like a real big role of like advisor and helper to Rhaenyra, because in the books it's all from people who were theirs perspective, so they don't really get this personal touch, right?
Yeah.
And it's and if you've listened to the book or read the book and you know what's going to happen, it's cool to get so much more depth to her character right before. You know what I mean? Like when she's talking with Corlys and shit. Like,
Yeah.
This is war. Like, it's like, oh, it's going to be so much sadder.
Well, and I like how she's like, he sits on my throne or whatever, and she's like, when do you think this really started? Like, when
You killed the baby?
When the baby was dead, well, that supposedly,
Yeah.
you killed or whatever. He's like, or when Aemon's eye got cut, when they killed Luke, which was the starting point of this. The history is going to write it.
Yeah, and
You know,
nobody's
we're-
going to end it. Right now, they don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. They're already so deep into it, they're going to forget
Yeah.
why it started.
And she thinks that Rhaenyra's best bet is to go to Alicent, and like, I don't know what she thinks she's supposed to go to Alicent for though, because we know that what Rhaenyra wants. Clearly, she's not going to go there and fucking be like, oh yeah, it's cool that your kid, my brother, is just taking my shit. But what does she hope to convince Alicent of? Like, what is Rhaenys when she's telling her that maybe you can go there and she'll be cool with it because she really does want peace.
I think Rhaenys is so enthralled with how well she's been holding back the men that want to go to war that she was like, maybe we don't have to. And basically what her side is you're not the only one who's being, had things done in your name, as well as she came to me the night before it all went down and seemed like us women need to fucking stop these motherfuckers
Yeah,
from just
they're
turning around.
just smelling blood.
Yeah. So it's really just kind of there are.
She wants to see
there
another
are
woman
calmer-
succeed.
There are, yeah, and there
Which
are
is not in
calmer
real
heads over
life.
there.
Hollywood, right? You don't like to see each other succeed. But Rhaenys does seem like she wants her to do good. Like, I didn't get my shot, but you're doing pretty damn good for a girl, and you hold it. And then she looks at her, because she doesn't help her all the time. She looks at her kind of like, hey, better handle this shit.
Yeah. Because, I think she also kind of realizes as a woman, it's like, she's spoken up a few in this season, but she was never really part of the councils or anything before.
Then we cut to Cole, and now he's like in his new role. His buddies. Is he like not the Lord Commander anymore? Is he not doing a dual role, or is it they don't respect him because
I think
they
what
know?
they're showing is there's suspect that the reason why he got this role.
Yeah.
When in all reality, Allison didn't give it to him, the king did. But yeah, they're all just like lazy,
leaning against the wall, sitting down and shit.
And is it the hand thing's new, right? He's got like a new chain around him.
little chain around his
It's like
armor.
because he's got armor. There's no badge. It's a chain. That's what he wears. And it's like hands, holding hands, fucking sweet Caroline.
Hands across America shit.
But yeah, he shows up to the small council late. I don't know why. He was just kind of spacing out in the hands office.
And Allison is just so over it. And they're talking about how he fucked up with Sir Eric. And he just failed to... Well, Sir Eric had something he was supposed to do, and he failed. She's like, yeah, because it was fucking hasty and stupid.
Yeah, she's like, don't put that on... and they're talking about replacing knights. Like the ones we lost. And
unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's convinced they just need to go, okay, we need a showing of force. And then they talk about the Brackens.
Oh, yeah, the Battle of the Burning Mill.
And the one dude's like, hey, this has always happened.
And it's funny, the maester or whatever, is it maester?
Yeah.
He's
Grand
like,
Maester.
like trying to be like, let's talk to Lord Tully. He's over both of these people, tell him to calm his shit, and then
Lannister.
yeah, he's like, oh, what kind of ring on your chain that says Master
war.
of War or whatever, And he's like, why can't we use them together? And they're all just kind of like laughing at him.
Go back to church, buddy.
Yeah.
And Allison is getting increasingly frustrated because these men are arguing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've lost discipline on the council. Without Otto there, nobody's taking turns talking. They're talking over each other. They're like us on other podcasts. And Aegon's just eager. He's just eager to go to war. And even Aemon's being smart and tactical and being like, brother, we can't risk you. Too important. It's brave of you. And he's stoking his ego too. Like, it's brave of you.
I don't think he's stoking his ego. I think he's like taunting him. No, like, we get to go to war.
Yeah.
You get to be king. Like, you gotta
Yeah.
sit here, bud.
Yeah.
I know you want fame and glory, but
That's my shit.
yep. And Aegon's getting so mad, he's like pulling daggers out, and it's the dagger.
Yeah.
The ice and fire dagger.
And Cole wants to basically take a small contingent out to control the Riverlands, start getting the banners under control. Alicent's not convinced.
She's like, another hasty plan. Like, this one's gonna end up the same. And he's just like, I'm kind of doing the hand thing now.
And then he just goes straight to the king. What say you, my king? And she looks at him like, you motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
I know what you can
She's
do.
not happy.
Like, oh, you're gonna go to the king because he's fucking a higher up. The one person higher up than me is my son, and you're gonna go to him.
Yeah, and he wants to take his dragon with them because he said Aemon's. It sounded like Aemon's going, but they're leaving Vhagar, and Aegon's like, "Why would you not take a dragon? What if you run into another dragon?" And Cole, I think, has a good point here. He goes, "We are more likely to invite dragons by
When they
having
see
one of
one.
our own."
It's hard to hide a dragon when they see
Yeah.
it flying through the sky.
And so, and it kind of does, I'd say, work out in their favor. Like, they get spotted, but there's no, like, gnarly battle and
No.
death, you know?
And I noticed that, and Aegon's even saying right there, I'm as fierce as anyone, because they're all telling me he has to stay behind. And he's getting like, I'm tough too, you know? I'm not just a little bitch. I'm not that little kid that was jerking off outside the window 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm
But they all
king
just,
now,
like,
damn
take
it!
their little
And I want
sips.
respect!
Yeah, it's like take their little sips of their glass, like,
They
you're
all do.
fierce.
They all do at the same time when he's like, I'm just as fierce as any of them. That nobody wants to say yes or no, so they're all like. Now we got Rhaenys talking to. I always call her the White Worm. I keep forgetting her name. I want to say Melisandre, but I know that's from season.
No, it's like
yeah.
Mysaria. It's spelled
Mysaria.
Mysaria, but
Yeah,
Mysaria.
Mysaria, or something like that. Yeah.
Sorry.
And she's asking why you didn't leave. You know, I gave you freedom to leave, and she's like, because you gave me the freedom. Like nobody's ever actually legit. They said I can go.
Well,
but
she's saying, I'm in your debt because you didn't leave and you warned us, basically.
What do you want?
Yeah, and she was like, I want to be part of your court. Then she's
That
like,
quick?
yeah, and she's like, well, like, why would you want to be a part of my court? Like,
In
you
Westeros,
were
you're
just
gonna-
talking about how you shouldn't have become someone prominent. You should have stayed a whore or whatever.
And and leave Westeros.
And that's
All
when
the
she was
politics.
like, well, it's going to come down to one of you two to rule this place, and you both had opportunities to show me
kindness.
mercy and kindness, and only one has.
Yeah. So now it's basically revenge.
And I think we're going to get a battle of the Whisperers, because you got Laris later on gets named,
Yeah.
and she basically is saying that's what I
She's
want.
basically Rhaenyra's at this point.
Yeah.
So they each got a spy master.
Yeah.
Shit.
And they're talking about sea smoke flying around.
And they're both really good, too, spy masters. Yeah, she said, my late lord husband. And this is something she never thinks about. She's like, he's been restless. No one knows why. And she's like, maybe he's lonely. And then Rhaenyra's like, oh. Like, did it ever occur to them that dragons have feelings and get lonely?
Yeah. So if that's sea smoke, maybe the one with Adam, is that his name?
Adam and Alan. I
Yeah.
think Alan's the one that rides him. I'm pretty sure it's
Okay,
Alan.
but there was one flying around Adam in the previous episode.
Do you think it's still sea smoke? Driftmark and Dragonstone aren't far apart.
Yeah, that's true.
So she comes to
Rhaena.
Rhaena and tells her,
I'm sending you off.
yeah, I need you to send you with my kids to look after them.
She's like, it's not safe here, it's not safe in King's Landing, shit's going down.
And she's like, well, what about my sister Bela? She's like, well, I'm going to need her here because she has a dragon.
Yeah, she's all upset that she's getting sent away from the action because she's not a dragon right
I get to
now.
go hang out with kids and way far away from anything.
And baby dragons. She's like,
Yeah.
you know, she's got her own, I'm assuming, and then her other kids who she's sending away have their own.
Yeah.
So that's who she's sending. It's basically the last line of the dragons and the last line of the Targaryens
And
being
what's
sent
cool
away
is-
for saving.
So we know that Daenerys, 200 years from now, has 3 dragon eggs. And in the book, there's like, and they didn't go into Jaehaerys' history or anything before Viserys in this House of the Dragon show, so you don't know about it. But there's like 3 instances in Fire and Blood that a set of dragon eggs go missing throughout history. this is one of the times that they get sent away. And did you notice here in a little bit? I'm kind of jumping ahead, but that they're the same. 3 of them. There are 6.
There's
4, and 3 of them are
Three
the
of
same.
them look the same.
And there's one blue one that obviously something happens to
Like a
that
whitish blue. Or
Yeah, something happens to that one or something. But those other 3 are dead ringers for fucking Daenerys' dragon eggs.
Well, and I think that goes into, again, with the histories are told as like a remembering of different accounts. So it could be those.
It could not be. I mean, they have a clutch of eggs all the time, right?
Since the show already went off and did their own thing with the original Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon now has carte blanche to do the same. As long as it matches up, basically.
The other show.
Yeah.
I mean, now you at least have to match the other show.
Yeah.
So now Daemon arrives at Harrenhal, and it seems pretty abandoned. But there were a few guards running saying, "Dragon!"
Yeah, but that was it. And so he's all hearing that, like, kind of doing his little...
samurai shit.
Samurai, like, around corners, like, being all prepared. He's all suited up.
And Harrenhal does look badass and creepy.
And I don't think they ever give much attention to... He's carrying that badass sword.
Dark Sister.
Yeah.
They mentioned it, like, she mentions it once in the first season. She's
Yeah.
like, you have Dark Sister, but it doesn't really show all that much of, like, it. They're so much more important in the original Game of Thrones, their swords.
Yeah. Or at least they were unique enough to where they stood out.
Yeah.
Like, in the first season of this, or first episode of this season, he was carrying ice.
Yeah.
And
that
you
was,
immediately you're
we
like,
knew
oh,
who
shit.
that, yeah, we knew ice.
But yeah, he's still doing his little sneaking, and you're just hearing creaking and cracking. It's like raining, like there's
Bats.
and there's like no roof. Like,
Yeah.
everywhere is just like water coming in.
Burned out. And it does have a haunting, creepy feeling, because they say Harrenhal is haunted from all the fucking horrible shit.
Yeah, it's just a bad place. Like, you can't... It's like those places in your town that just seem to always have new business there because no one can fucking...
Keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like everybody tries, they breathe some new life into it.
It's like a new business.
It's like
every
Geneva
year.
Steel.
Yeah.
20 years ago, 30 years ago. Like, somebody buys it, keeps it open for 10 years, and then goes, fuck this.
Yeah. He even gets into, like, the big great hall, like, throne room. I don't know exactly what it is. It looks like where you'd have, like, feasts and shit.
Yeah.
And it's all
Hollowed
spread
out.
open.
And there's, yeah, he's got a badass helmet. I don't like that it's so tight on their faces.
I don't
get
like that
it
it
would
looks
need to
more
be-
like a horse in the front than a dragon.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it
is
needs the
tight.
wings. It needs the wings like the other one.
Yeah.
But that's not practical, because couldn't somebody just easily catch you on the wing and pull your head, like if a,
Just pull your helmet off. Ping!
Yeah, like with an axe, like tink, hit the corner of it.
Yeah.
It gives them a lot more to hit.
Yeah. Have him break away, so it goes and just goes down. So he finally runs into a guard and
Just
doesn't
beats the shit.
Yeah, he doesn't kill him, just punches him in the face 4 times.
With his sword hand, with the sword in his hand, like damn, damn.
I think he's like upset, like there's no glory in it.
Yeah, and there's like, you just saw my dragon land. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You should be like either attacking me or fucking praising.
Yeah.
You guys are just sitting here having dinner?
Yeah, you should be welcoming me, not just standing back waiting for me to show up.
And he's like, I'm taking Harrenhal. This little old man actor, we'll figure out his name and I'll put it in the tags, but he is just, I think he does great. He plays the character so well. Whoever plays Simon Strong, the Castling of Harrenhal, he is just awesome. Because Damon's like, I'm taking Harrenhal. He's like, it appears so. Like, I'm not even...
Well,
And he's like, supper's finished with black cabbage and peas. No red currant. Sorry about that. Like, what the fuck is this?
and it's like, did he get left with no one? Like, you know, it's like, is that maybe why he doesn't like Laris so much?
Well, he says it right here that he finds it funny. Oh, Damon here, real quick, says, I've survived many a battle. I'm not going to be felled by poison bees. We won't eat their food. And he's like, you're welcome here. And he says that Laris Strong is no lord of mine. My nephew's son. Don't you find it strange that he survived and his son and his father died in this place, this damp place,
Yeah.
that hasn't seen a fire since the days of Hair in the Black. We have a hard time keeping the hearths lit in the summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, a fire magically broke out in the middle of the night, killing both of them.
Yeah, like the lineage. That's how he's Lord.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, he calls. Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Fucking Daemon is just insisting because he keeps saying my prince, which is the correct vernacular at this point in time.
He's also the king consort, but she hasn't officially sat the throne, so yeah.
So he keeps calling my prince, and he's saying, "Make me say your grace," and it happens like 2 or 3 times.
Right there, he says when he first says it though, he goes, "Oh, I only assumed because now we know now we're reminded of the dangers of assumption, aren't we?" And he's like, "Indeed, your grace." And he asks him why you came here. What do you want with this place? It's the biggest castle in the Seven Kingdoms.
It's not the biggest castle in the set. Well, it is, but what he says is it's the main one in the Riverlands.
Yeah.
Like, we need the Riverlands.
It can house everyone that we want to bring here.
Yeah. And he's like, I want to speak to your liege lord. And he's like, yeah, Master Tully's old, losing his hearing or his sight or something. He's like, and the seal of his bowels. And he's like,
sorry about that.
I don't need him to talk. I don't need him to...
Yeah.
Just need him to listen. But yeah, it is funny how, just like throughout the conversation, he still will say my prince or whatever, and he just like leans back or just like getting upset.
Like, dude, if I didn't need you, I'd kill you for this shit.
And it's just, again, showing his disdain for how this is going. There was no glory in getting there, and now there's like...
And there's not even noble men sitting with him at the table. There's like an old man who's nice, but his 3 sons that are sitting with him are like half mongoloid or something.
Yeah, pudgy, fat, and dumb.
Like looking all confused on who he is and why he's there.
Yeah. Just like mouths open, like eating stew.
Like not saying a word. The one in the middle, particularly. Way bad.
It almost looks so bad as like it's not how he would have been acting. It's like that's just him in real bad extra.
Like I didn't think we were going to be filming for 15 hours, so I just kind of was sitting there.
And at the end of the conversation, he says, "We're gonna rally the men in the area. I'm gonna speak with Lord Tully, and we're gonna take the throne." And the guy's like, "The throne?" And he goes, "Yeah."
It's a big iron chair.
He's like, it's a
made
big
of swords.
Chair made of swords.
Yeah.
Because the guy was like, "Oh, I thought you were just like trying to get the area. Like, why would you go for the throne?"
Yeah, and he's pretty estranged.
I'm wondering if they're gonna make it like it's almost a competition with him and Rhaenyra.
I think they're gonna make him challenge it. I don't think they're gonna give us the easy, good, satisfying. Well, I found it satisfying end to Daemon's character in the book. I think it's going to be more of a clash with him and Rhaenyra. But it is, as we'll talk about later, it's already starting to affect him mentally, everything that's happened.
Yeah.
So now we're with Sir Criston about to take off for his little...
And his new haircut.
And his new fucking haircut.
Super cute.
Yeah. It's smart, though. Like me, I get my fucking hair pulled by some fucking punk and get my throat slit. And, you cut your hair and that kind of shit.
Yeah, he's got like the Russell Crowe gladiator Caesar cut thing going on.
Yeah. Well, the armor helps, too. He does look a lot like... That's who he looks like. He looks like Russell Crowe, a smaller Russell Crowe.
But wearing the armor of the Caesar.
Yeah, but wearing the wrong armor. And Alicent's like introducing her brother, and he looks just like a preppy. But a preppy who's good at shit. You know what I mean? That you want to hate.
He's a lord's
son. Yeah. So it's like a rich kid that's also like cool. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Or like a football player.
He's probably good with his men.
Yeah.
Like his men like him, you know.
He's just kind of a dick almost. Just a little bit of a... You can tell he's a dick. But Cole's a little bitch. So.
Well, when he does say it to Cole, too, he's like, oh, it kind of sucks that 3 months of riding to get here just to find that...
My dad's not even here.
My dad's been sent off by a fucking guy with such modest upbringing as yourself.
And my dad served 3 kings.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're here.
Yeah.
And you don't even fucking, just all of a sudden.
Yeah, and he says, I love to fight next to a Dornish man. Like, just pointing it all out, you know.
Point out that you're a
You're
Dornish man.
You don't have a fucking
Which means you're not loyal, right? Because you never bent the knee.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. To ride to war with a Dornishman.
But
Ooh,
yeah.
I never caught that. That is a sweet insult. I noticed that he said Dornishman, and I knew that Cole was Dornish, but I didn't think that. I didn't put the two and two together.
And he
But that's
doesn't
like an
have
insult.
like the Lord's name. He was a stable. He was
Son-
the son
yeah,
of like
yeah,
stable,
his son-
son
his-
of
yeah.
stableman or something like that.
Stable master's son who could fight. He
Yeah.
enlisted and did well in fighting off the Dornish incursions and shit.
Yeah. So was he fighting his own people?
And now they're marching, and then it cuts to the rat catcher, which has obviously been a couple days.
Yeah.
For weeks? We don't
Yeah,
know.
weeks. And he's just getting pecked his eyes out. That is still a pretty big host.
Yeah, well, that's what he's just saying. He's like, it's not huge, but if I move now with what I got, we can collect on the way.
But no, I know. But to be spotted too, like that's not sneaking.
Yeah, but also you know someone's flying around King's
Yeah.
Landing. You know they're not going that close.
And you probably get word from ravens at towers that are your land that'll be like, "Hey, we saw a fucking Rhaenyra contingent." You know, but no, but then none of them have sent troops at this point.
Well, you know, be really smart is not wear such shiny armor, so you see later when.
Yeah, dressed like a group of fucking hobos.
Yeah. Because
Gypsies or something.
she's just going along, and it's like no road, nothing. Just like in the middle of the green, she's flying over, like you see a little shine.
That's
you know?
silver.
Yeah, because I didn't see it the first time. Like, what the
Uh-huh.
fuck is she looking at? And then I rewatch. I was like, oh, there is a little shimmer down there.
So we're back at Dragonstone, and Rhaenyra's men, are telling her that she needs to unleash the dragons. And she's saying that there should be threats, not weapons. And they're laughing at her. And Rhaenys is getting pissed. And Rhaenyra's getting pissed, but not having the balls quite enough to stand up yet.
Yeah.
But then her one little more mellow guy kind of suggests, well, maybe you should hide yourself. And we'll handle this while you're gone. And she's like, you mean to wage the war while I'm gone?
Yeah, not have me included on this.
Yeah. Yeah,
She's
it's
like,
just
it's
a temporary. She's like, no, it's treason. Is
Yeah.
what it is.
She's like, you're lucky you only got this far.
Yeah. You're lucky you
Like-
took it no further.
Yeah. But they're all just trying to like, and when she says, you know, the threat of dragons is better, he's like, a sword isn't as scary when it's sheathed,
Yeah.
you know. But it's just another kind of testament to how she's trying not to
Her best.
make the realm bleed.
And it's getting close. It's getting to where it's inevitable. You know what I mean? Like, people are fucking killing each other in her
Yeah.
name everywhere. And as she walks out, Rhaenys walks up and says, this council ought to remember that Rhaenyra wears the crown of my grandsire, the Conciliator, whose reign lasted longer than any Targaryen king, even the Conquerors. Like, he was the best, and she's wearing his crown, so y'all better fucking start shaping up
Yeah.
and showing some fucking respect.
Yeah. See, this is a fucking bit. This is for ruling. This isn't for, you know, just war.
Yeah, dick measuring,
Bunch of
right?
war
'Cause she
hawks.
ain't got one,
Yeah.
so she's not worried
And
about
it's still
that.
bigger than yours.
Yeah. And then Corlys, and this is the stuff I was talking about earlier, that it's showing Rhaenys and Corlys, and she's talking about how it's serious, and you know, you should maybe make Rhaela your heir because, hey, she's got nothing else. She doesn't want the babies.
Yeah.
And Corlys even says, I would rather fucking, oh God, I would hate to choose exile with a bunch of babes.
Yeah.
I would take exile before I'd take an assignment fucking
Yeah.
watching babes.
Yeah, and when she's trying to have him pick, she's like, it's either Rhaena or
The kid who's not.
Aegon? No, not Aegon.
Joffrey.
Joffrey.
Joffrey, that's right.
Who knows nothing of the sea also and is 4 years old.
Yeah. She's like, well, neither of them are going to know the sea because they're all getting shipped off, so.
Yeah.
And she's like, time is running out. Like, we're at the cusp, we're at the brink.
Yeah.
It's about to go down.
She's held him off as long as she can, dude.
And I think it's almost like how I feel about, like, this season. I'm, like, waiting for just badassness, and they went right over the fucking Battle of the Burning Mill.
That was a...
We had the brothers fight, which was good,
That was
well
good.
done. But, you know, there's so much going on that they're
So
not
fast,
showing.
yeah. There's so much.
And you notice in the company and stuff, like when Cole was like wrapping up and meeting her brother and shit, that you didn't see Aemon anywhere, and he's supposed to be going with them, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So that just kind of is like a disappearing act that might come up in another episode or something.
Well, I think they do mention, well, Clubfoot mentions something to the king here in a little bit to kind of undermine him. But we're here at Rayla, again looking all butthurt, like I'm getting sent away. Nobody loves me because I don't have a dragon. My egg didn't
I'm
hatch.
not important.
They're bringing out the baby dragons, and she's still kind of pissed.
And she just kind of Rhaenyra's just giving her a breakdown of the dragons that she's sending with them, and also kind of letting her know about the eggs.
Yeah, she's like, they're small, but they will grow.
Yeah.
And now her sister's talking to her, and she's like, go safe. It's all going to be good. She's like, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be good. Don't fucking undermine this. Don't coddle me.
You wouldn't be wanting to do
Yeah,
this.
you know this is bullshit assignment. You would hate this.
Yeah.
Don't coddle me.
And that's when her sister kind of gives her the little nudge. She's like,
You're going to like this.
Well,
kind of thing.
not even just that, but it's like, this is how important she has.
Trust you.
Yeah.
Her children, not just her children.
Yeah. Which it kind of focuses on Rhaenyra, saying goodbye to them.
Uh-huh.
But then she was like, these are the last eggs of Dragonstone, basically.
Yeah, the last ones we have here.
Yeah. These are
And
the
if
most
everything
important.
comes to ruin here,
So what is the plan with the kids, though? So
to send them to Pentos to be...
all three? Because I think
The Vale of Arryn.
that's where Joffrey goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the eggs, because in the book, the Vale lady, I forgot her name, she asked for dragons.
Yeah, she does in this too. That she wants a dragon, so she shall have one. And I think that's when there's sending Joffrey and his dragon.
And then
To
they're
be
gonna
housed by
take,
her, and then
they're
the
gonna
other
take
ones-
the Daemon's kids.
To Pentos
Yeah.
With
Okay.
Rhaena.
with Rhaena
Yeah. Okay.
and the eggs.
Oh, and Jace has to say goodbye to his little brother. He's already said goodbye to another little brother. And
Yeah.
that little brother
So
died.
And see, that's the thing too. No, never mind. I forgot. I can't mention that because it'll ruin something.
Oh, it's just a sad,
That would be
Party.
so hard.
Oh, that would be because you don't
Send
know.
your
It's like she
kids
said. I
away.
don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to see him.
Yeah, like, I might not see these guys again.
I
like,
might be
ever
dead.
Again.
like, honestly, that's why I'm sending him away. Is,
I'm likely to die.
yeah.
When these dragons start burning each other, this whole place might not be come backable.
Yeah.
That's why you need to go to Pentos.
You need to go across the sea where shit's
Because
not
you don't
flying.
think I'm going to have Joffrey on his way to your ass as soon as the veil falls, too?
Yeah,
Because he
no
will
shit.
be. And now it's Alicent and Helena. And this is a little disappointing, this the way the show, for me, the way the show went with it, because in the book, she just goes, like, basically batshit.
Yeah, she dies in, like, depression.
She
and
doesn't
was
die
already
quite. She doesn't
kinda-
die quite yet, but she is right after the boy's dead. Basically, just beyond rec. She doesn't bathe. She does never seen taking food, and she's just downright depressed. In this, she's kind of like justifying not being sad. She's like, I shouldn't be so sad. It
Well, yeah,
happens
she
all the
starts
time,
off by saying, I am sad about it.
but I shouldn't be.
Yeah, she's like, it happens all the time. Like, imagine the commoners. She's like, I look at them, like, pawing at me and thinking that my grief is bigger than theirs. She's like, but it happens to them more.
Probably more to them than
Yeah.
me. You know.
She's like, babies are so fragile and taken so easily, but we're up here,
Mhm.
and they're living out there, and so.
And Alicent's like, it comes for us all. And then Helena says, and what about you? She's like, I'm just worried about you. And she says, I forgive you. Now this is what, look at the way Alicent looks here. She's like, what? And she's like, I said that I forgive you. Now what does that mean? Does that mean I forgive you for you? It is your fault. If you were there, if you weren't doing what you were doing, Cole would have been there, and my son wouldn't be dead. And it's okay. I forgive
That's
you.
what I take it as. She's just like her
And how does Alicent
in the
feel?
most innocent kind way that Helena is.
Because
just
she's
like,
not thinking that it's actually mean. It's not actually meant to be mean.
Yeah.
It's actually sincere. Like, I forgive you. It is your fault, kind of, but it's okay.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want you feeling the guilt you feel. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I wonder how Alicent felt like that. Is it like relief, like my daughter's okay? Or is it like, oh my God, she knows.
Yeah,
she
I
knows,
thought-
but she's too simple
I
to...
think she was like hopeful that Allison just didn't, or Helena just didn't know what they were doing.
And process it.
Yeah, because she was already freaking out
Yeah.
because the kid thing. But
She clearly did,
Yeah.
and clearly blames her in one way or another. Not maliciously, but
Yeah.
thinks that if her mother wasn't doing that.
or just maybe slightly agrees with Allison, just like, yeah, it sucks because maybe they wouldn't have got through. You know.
And it's like, oh, fuck. And now Aegon's sitting there, and they're tying his armor on.
And he's taken the armor of the Conqueror.
Of the Conqueror, and they're like fitting it to him because he's not as big.
Yeah.
Clearly. And then Littlefoot comes in, and the guard stops him at the door and is like, what do you want? What's it to you? And he's like, I heard the king plans to fly to war. He's like, what's it to you? He's like, well, I don't know. I just thought maybe it would be good if our king wasn't cut into a bunch of little pieces scattered throughout the realm while his fucking court falls to ruin. What about you? And then he just walks past the dude.
It's like, wouldn't you agree, basically, and like walks off.
And he's so good. And this actor plays it so good. This creepy kind of aura to him when he's talking to him, because he says, well, two kinds of things are being said in the street, Your Grace. Some are saying that our brave king in his wisdom is flying to battle with his men. And others are saying that you were duped by a queen and your brother so that they
By the
could run.
council for you to fly off to war and they can rule in your stead.
Yeah, so the Queen Alicent can rule in your stead with Prince Aemon by her side. And he's like, huh. Who says such things? You know, I want to know who spreads these lies. And they're like, it doesn't matter. Once somebody says it,
Yeah,
makes lives.
once an idea takes.
Yeah, it's a mind of his own. It doesn't matter. I can cut down everybody in the street and said it. It's not going to find the right one.
Well, kind of in a sense, he goes, it grows like a weed, and unless it's tended to, it will spread.
Well, tend to it.
Yeah, and that's what, yeah. And it plays into, Larys is right in his ear, which is going to be fun for the show because he's kind of not, he just gets mentioned every once in a while.
Yeah, and he's creepy when he's mentioned, and he's smart, but he's a lot more in the shadows in the books.
Yeah.
Because it's all by people's accounts. So he's never seen these smart, vindictive things. I wonder if, I haven't listened to the Game of Thrones original series, if Littlefinger's is more like that, if it's less detailed in the book, because he's always off doing shady shit.
Yeah, definitely could be. But it's also not as much as it counts as like first person characters, chapters. Yeah. And so Larys takes off to go tend to these weeds, and Aegon is talking to his men.
Well,
like
no, first he says, my father said he never needed a master of whispers, but I find myself needing one. You know, your talents are great. And he's like, you honor me, meaning like he just gave him the job.
Yeah.
I have a master of whispers now, and it's you.
And then he goes to talk to his men afterwards, and he's like, they're like, so
you come out with us.
You know, they're like, are you ready to go? And he's like, I think I'm going to fly another day.
Oh, yeah, and they're all like, yeah, seems good.
Yeah, it's probably a wise decision upon reflection. And he's like, you want to come with us? His squire wants some betting before he takes the oaths or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, but you guys are supposed to take a vow of chastity. And they're all like, yeah.
Until he gets that creepy Targaryen look for a second, like.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
yes.
Of course.
Yes, of course.
And then it cuts to Flea Bottom, obviously, to, I don't remember his...
Is it Ulf or Wolf or whatever?
Ulf, yeah, in the book that much. But he's basically claiming to be a dragon seed.
Well, yeah, so he goes through a bar and he seems really... Also, you notice the waitress here?
Yeah, it's the same one that,
The Aegon
put a baby in.
Yeah.
Well, they avoided putting baby in.
Yeah. Well, he put one in there possibly.
And they got rid of it.
Yeah. But he's like fucking buddy-buddy with all the people in the bar and shit. And he sits down with these guys. And there's a new one apparently that doesn't know him. He's like a Dornishman. And he basically says, buy me a drink and I'll tell you this story.
Yeah. And it's about how he's my grandfather was a conciliator.
He's a bastard son of
Baelor the Brave.
Baelor?
the Brave, which is Viserys' and Daemon's dad. He says that he's the bastard brother of Daemon and Viserys.
So he's not their dad, he's
their brother.
Yeah.
Bastard brother of Viserys and Daemon. The uncle to the two that are fighting each other for the throne right now.
Yeah. And basically...
But since I'm a bastard, you know, and a dragon suit. We gotta keep our heads down, or they'll take my
Yeah, it's
head.
gotta be secret because I don't have white cloaks guarding me. You know.
It seems like it's just a dude lying to get like pussy and free drinks at the bar.
Yeah, and his friends kind of like make fun of him for it. Like, yeah, you can tell because of
his hair.
hair, and
it's
it's
all
obviously
gray.
not white. And he's like, I'm a half brother.
Yeah,
And
it does seem like he's like, yeah.
And he keeps referring to all the Targaryens as like who they'd be in relation to him. He's like, my nephew, this, my whatever
my
that.
half brother,
Yeah,
my grandsire.
yeah,
And he's like, you don't look like Daemon and Viserys, and he's like, well, would you know what they look like?
yeah.
Like, but he looks nervous when he says it. Like, fuck, does this guy really know what they look like? Because I am lying through my ass.
But there was, they were known to spill their seed or whatever it said in the book. Like,
Yeah.
we're bastards.
And on Dragonstone, that was a gift.
Yeah.
That wasn't viewed as a bad thing. That was viewed as, hey, my daughter got knocked up by a Targaryen. Sweet!
Yeah.
Because they were given things on Dragonstone,
Yeah.
land or whatever. And then Aegon shows up with his buddies, and they're all like, "Oh, hail the king!"
Well, he shows up right when Wolf or whatever is basically declaring Jacaerys as the rightful heir.
Yeah.
And that's when Aegon shows up and everybody goes quiet and hail the king, and he buys around for the entire bar.
Yeah, he's like, "Drinks on the crown," and they're all like, "Yeah!"
Yeah. And,
And now it's on to Tisha's favorite part of the episode.
Totally.
The fucking Sodom and Gomorrah scene. And
Great.
Aegon's walking by and he's like smacking the kid around a little bit, playing with him, and he's telling him that this is a mild place. Okay, now there's clearly, they go all out for graphicness here on a blowjob, which is not a real dick. Anybody who's seen a real dick knows that's not a real dick.
Yeah, it was a strap-on, but he opens like 3 or 4 curtains, and
Yeah,
he's
and there's
getting all
people
these sorts
humping
of orgies and debaucheries going
until
on.
he comes across
the whore he's looking for.
Yeah, the one he's looking for to entertain his squire friend.
Which makes you wonder, like, when he brought Aemon to this lady.
When he was like 12 or 13.
Yeah. And is it just he brings everyone to her now? It wasn't a brotherly thing? He's just been handing this lady business for so long.
And he says, Aemon the Fierce, look at how far you've come and you still lay with the same woman. It's sweet. It's a sweet thing.
And he's laughing in his
And
face
he's just
the whole
teasing, and
time.
Aemon's just so embarrassed. But he's like, it's a sweet, good thing. He's like, but this proves that the woman's prowess, my brother will not sample another.
Yeah, and Aemon's just with his back
Laughing
to
and they're
everybody else.
poking fun. It's really bad. It's embarrassing.
Aemon's butt naked with his back to all of them. Just
And
he's
here he
having to
is.
take
And
this-
he, the actor, hey, that's brave.
He's got full
on.
full flaccid dong out.
Wouldn't you want to ask, do you want to ask to be like aroused? I would be. If you're going to get me to drop trowel.
It might be the director's choice because he's not being
Excited.
sexual with her right
Yeah, and he's embarrassed.
maternal
and
thing.
he's got his fucking brother
Yeah.
bragging on him and shit.
now. Yeah, Aegon's a real dick in that, and it just goes back to show their brotherly dynamic.
Yeah, and how he was always just a bully to his brother. Even when he was trying to be nice, he was making fun of him and bringing him down a little bit.
Oh, Rhaenyra's looking at the baby's toys.
Yeah, and Rhaenyra's looking at all her kids' toys and crying.
That would be so hard. I couldn't do it.
And she sees Alicent's letter, which she has had for a while, but she refused to read. And they even asked Alicent about it earlier on. And she was,
asked Rhaenys about it.
well, no, Rhaenys asked Rhaenyra, but Alicent asked at the small council, did Rhaenyra respond to my letter? And they're like, no. So we can assume that she's not going to.
Yeah.
And it never shows what the letter says.
No, it does the first little bit. Rhaenyra,
I write.
lost battling, and just basically the beginning of a scroll, and then it cuts out as Game of Thrones loves to do, or House of the Dragon loves to do.
Yeah, and just tease you. And now we cut to Cole in the middle of the field, riding up to Sir Gawain and being like, what the fuck? We're camped back there? And he wants to go to an inn. Because like I said, he's a prissy little fuck.
Yeah, he's a lord's son. It's like Tyrion, basically.
Yeah, but he's all chained up. His
Early Tyrion.
His armor does not look used.
No.
It looks pressed for like and his chain link on his horse and just everything.
Yeah.
All intricate.
Yeah, it looks overkill for somebody who probably doesn't see battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all fancy.
And he's like,
And he's a ginger too.
and he's already saying, like, I don't think my nephew will mind me having some comforts, like claiming his relation to
The
the
king,
throne.
yeah, above him. Like, my nephew won't begrudge me a night of comfort.
Yeah.
And then Cole finally realizes we're exposed.
Well, I think he sees something because
The clouds go away. Is that what it was? Like,
Well, it was like there was a flash over the sun or something like that,
that
and that's when he
right.
was like, "Oh shit, you have us out in the middle of a field that had chase you down." And this is what I was talking about earlier. Is it shows Bela,
Yeah, Bela. On Moon Dancer.
yeah, flying around doing her little scouting, and a tiny little shimmer, just the tiniest
Reflection
little
of light.
mirror-like fucking reflection.
And she is swooping down,
Yeah, she wants to get a closer look, and
which she was advised against and told not to engage. And they're just fucking riding like hell.
they are riding so hard right here. And I don't know.
She's scraping the ground close. It's badass.
Yeah, but I'd say that she could claim not engaged because she could have blew fire way earlier
Oh,
before
yeah.
they got
Yeah.
tree cover even.
And killed them.
Like tree cover's gonna stop dragon fire anyways.
Yeah, she could burn the forest down
Yeah.
right now and kill them out before they could get out.
Yeah. Just blow a circle of fire on them, just watch them.
So she did show restraint, obviously, right there. Yeah, because she could have totally fucking scorched them in the ass.
Yeah. But it also could be said because of the dive is why they had to feel like they had to run or whatever, you know.
But now she's circling, and they're in the middle of the woods, and fucking little red Sir Gawain is like shaking.
Yeah.
And like, ah, ah.
He's like sweating and
And-
shaking literally.
And Cole's looking up like, fuck up, nobody move.
So eventually she takes off on her dragon.
And goes back up to a safe altitude. And
Which I don't know if it really matters if they consider engaging or not, because if you think about it, Aegon in the small council earlier was like, it doesn't matter, blood is spilled in our name, and they're like,
started.
he's like, Dragonstone's gonna think the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it was, because the one
They'll
guy was
call
like,
it
it's
war.
just an old family feud, they'll have any reason to fight, and he's like, doesn't matter,
It was in our
it's
names.
gonna be Sia's war that we won.
Yeah. So now Cole says to him, he's like, oh, now we have to cover under travel of night. And we're going to start tonight. And no fucking ends. You
Yeah,
little
he
fucking
gives
prissy
his
bitch.
little
With your
fucking-
glamping.
Yeah, you're glamping.
I don't fucking think so. And back to the war table of Rhaenyra.
Bela's giving her the rundown. She saw Cole, and she said a half a dozen knights, probably a scouting party for a bigger host. And
She's
then-
like, how did you see that it was Cole? He's like, I didn't zag.
She's like, yeah. She's like, how could you really have a good counting from like that high? She's like, well, it wasn't really that.
I got a little
closer. But the one councilman's like, yeah, it's already been confirmed by other reports that I've received
That
of a
Cole's-
large host moving. And all the men again are like,
And
if
even-
now's not
even-
the time. Like, when are you gonna act? Kind of
Even
thing.
even the one that was more resistant and on her side, even he's like, it's time. Like, it's too,
we
we've got to
can't
do
let
it now.
them move and not us.
Yeah.
And the one who's always been kind of the
Against her, like,
aggressor.
yeah, pushing against Rhaenyra's restraint. It's like, you need to loose your dragons and burn Cole out. And even Rhaenys is looking at her like, it might be that time. But you have one chance. Do you want to go to Alicent or do you want to do this?
I don't even think she knows about Alicent. She gave her the idea of, you know, getting a message to her, speaking with her, but
not of going to see her.
not
I
as
don't-
crazy as it's
What she
about
does.
to get. Yeah.
She's like, I need to see her in person. Right?
Yep. And here comes Daemon's little
Nightmare.
the Nightmare Saga.
I think this is bitching, and I heard that the creators said that they're going to explore that. It's going to be seen more like. So it's going to give us more like of a psychological problem for
Like
David.
what was
with
going on with him?
him
during
psychologically during that whole time in Harrenhal that he spends and the war and
This. Yeah.
the toll it takes on him, because it's never been innocence really. You know, it's fighting his stepsons, killing a bunch of dirtbags.
Yeah.
Now it's like real time where we live affects.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I'm not just supposed to conquer. I'm supposed to win these people.
Yeah,
over.
I've got to come back and I've got to come. I can't just burn it down because we're gonna need it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, it can't just be Mad Death. So he's just rolling around his room, checking out different
Putting
leads.
bowls everywhere.
Yeah.
Like bowls, cups, everywhere.
And the door just starts hella banging. He's got a sword blocking it off.
Oh yeah, it's total. It didn't occur to me the first watch through that this was a nightmare with all that. But it's so kind of cliche with some of the nightmare moments.
Yeah.
That part especially, like the something behind the door, pushing hard enough to push on the sword, but then when he opens it, there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's no one.
But I did like the fact that it's like he had a sword in there because even though they said he was welcome and everything,
He don't
wouldn't eat their
trust
food.
nobody.
Yeah. He's like, it'd be easy for you to kill me in my sleep. It'd be easy for you to kill me in my food. Like, I'm a dragon rider. It would be a big trophy to fucking not have to, or to get me out that easily, you know?
And it cuts to this awesome moment. So all of Harrenhal, like we said, is destroyed, in disrepair. Suddenly there's this room that's lit up and warm. And he hears a woman singing. And it's Millie Aylock, young Rhaenyra, holding the little dead prince's body. And she is doing the work of the Silent Sisters. She's basically sewing the little boy's head back onto his body. And it's showing it pretty graphically.
And I don't think it was stitched in the funeral. I think it was just placed.
It was stitched.
It was
yeah.
stitched.
Oh,
It
it
was
was?
stitched. But in the scene, she's like, "Here I am, left behind to clean up your messes," and it's young Rhaenyra, not old Rhaenyra, who he left. So it's like to him, Rhaenyra's innocence, which he stole because he went after when she was young,
Yeah.
and also the boy. He feels directly responsible for the death of the child.
Yeah, and she's now having to live with the fact that
He's just
it was
done all
done in
this.
her name.
Yeah, done in her name by his mistake.
Yeah.
So Daemon kind of just shakes from the nightmare, and he's by the weirwood tree. So he like sleptwalked there, or was there the whole time when the hallucination happened?
I think it's all within the dream. Like, he was probably getting ready for bed, kind of doing his little pot stuff. And when he fell asleep, that's where his brain kind of took back over. Sent him on the thing to her, and then was at the weirwood. And then he wakes up after the other lady,
The
who we
flowers
saw
girl.
earlier,
The flowers girl.
at the table with the Harrenhal Lord, Simon.
Yeah.
And she just kind of looks at him, and then it cuts away from
Well,
her.
no, she says, "You're gonna die in this place."
Well, yeah, but I was saying when she was at the table
Yeah.
earlier, it just kind of shows her and then it goes away. But then it's her again, and she's like, "You're gonna die in this place."
And then
And
she
then
just walks away again.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay. That sucks." And then it cuts to Rhaenyra going down to the, like, maids' halls or something in Dragonstone. And
I
that's where
think
she
it was
finds
the where she was talking to her before, where all the scrolls and
Oh,
stuff
the
are.
histories.
Yeah.
the library or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were, like, talking shit about the high towers. She was talking to, like, a maid when they walked up.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra walked up and they were like, "That'll be all." The maid, like, runs away. Like,
Yeah. Because she's more in tune with the common folk.
And she's asking her, you know about the Red Keep. What about Alison Hightower? And she's like, what about her? Would you take her hostage? Would you kill her outright? She's like, well, I would like to sit with her, talk to her, face to face. She's like, it'd be easier to kill her.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be a lot easier to kill her than to get you close enough to talk to her.
Yeah.
She's the Dowager Queen, she doesn't go anywhere without somebody watching her.
She's like, I can get a message to her. And Rhaenyra's
He's
like,
like,
no,
no.
she'll be suspicious of a message. She
I would
won't
be.
hear.
Yeah.
I would be, yeah. And so
She's like, well, there's a way you can get in that Daemon used, the ships. And she's like, how would I walk amongst them? Just walk in on there. She's like, you'd be surprised. Men don't notice a woman unless she's a queen or
dressed
she's
like a queen
or-
or to lure men.
or to lure men. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't carry you if you're frumpy or dressed like a nun. They're not
Yeah.
gonna pay any mind to you.
Yeah, but that's when she was like, I'd like to talk to her. Could you get me in there? And she's like, well, what do I do then? Scale a wall, knock on the front door.
Yeah.
She was like, well, there is one place that she goes that you
Alone.
can find her
You
alone.
might be able to find her alone.
Yeah.
And that was the Sept, which is cool to see the Sept again because the last time we saw it, Marjorie got blown up.
Oh.
That was a bad day.
Next girlfriend.
That was a very, very bad day in Game of Thrones history.
It's alright, mine got shot with an arrow.
By some punk ass kid.
Yeah.
He got his.
Fucking 11-year-old kid. Name all.
But Rhaenyra is now, yes, sneaking into the Sept, and she's got one guy with her. And he's clearly the one that's gonna get you there. Like, I'm gonna get you there.
He's a fucking Liam Neeson looking motherfucker.
Yeah, and he's real quiet and stoic, and it's awesome.
It's one of her guard actually, because I recognize him. He used to wear white cloak and shit, but he's dressed down to be her protector.
But it looks like he gets paid right here.
No, they don't pay him. He just sits.
He hands her a knife.
Yeah.
That's
He
what it is.
sits on the steps.
He hands her the knife. I
Yeah.
thought it was her handing him gold.
Yeah, he's
You
like,
know, like he was just paid when she got there.
no, he was.
Yeah,
like,
he's handing her
I
the
can't
knife.
go in with you. Take this.
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw that, but it's actually he handed her.
He's like scared for her.
Oh no, he takes a knife. But
Yeah,
it's one of her cloakmen.
Yeah. But Alicent's up there, and yeah, her guards do wait at the door as she walks into the Sept, and
And Rhaenyra's dressed as one of the nuns or
yeah,
whatever you
one of the
call 'em.
Septus.
Yeah. Which was funny because it was like the same walkway for like the shame. In the
Yeah,
photo. That was
yeah, the
kinda
same.
funny.
Right, they're in reverse.
Yeah.
Oh, if only those people could get their hands on the old school Targaryens. No, they're filth. The High Sparrow would have a field day with them filthy fuckers.
But it's back to the ring where she was praying for all of the
Dead, the lost and dead people in the war.
and she prayed
So-
for Lucerys
Yeah.
after that episode.
Viserys Valerian, like
Yeah.
even bless his soul because this is fucked up.
Yeah.
And up comes Rhaenyra, and it's awesome because she pulls a knife, and she's the one that pulls the knife first, and it's like, hey, calm down.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not pushing it towards you. I just
I
want
want
to
to speak with you. And she's like, what if I scream? And she just says it matter of fact, like when she was younger, like, well, your men would find me, and I'd be either killed, taken, or slain, and not before I killed you.
Yeah.
Just like it's a matter of fact, like, and Allison's like, huh? Like, what?
Yeah. She's
You're like, are you fucking nuts? You just walk in here with a knife, and your plan is that if I don't agree, you're gonna kill me and get killed yourself. And even Rhaenyra's like, I started badly.
let me start over. We got off on the wrong foot here. But it's actually kind of funny. I never thought of it before, but it's like that's the second time it's been them with a knife in between them. You know?
And they used to be buddies.
Yeah. It's kind of nice the way they did it with the actresses, though, because like you don't see Alicent now as the buddy one because they
No.
weren't, you know, after they switched characters. It's like that was a long time of them not being buddies anymore.
Yeah. Once you started humping my dad, it's like we don't hang out anymore.
Yeah. You didn't tell me about it.
Yeah, what are we gonna talk
now
about?
Now you're the mother of my brothers.
Yeah, what are we gonna talk about? Your pregnancy? I
Yeah.
don't want to hear about how my dad got you pregnant. Yeah, that does ruin. You ruined this. And she's like, well, I only did it because I had to.
Yeah, we get told what to do.
Yeah.
You know.
So she's basically saying, we can make peace. I heard you wanted to make peace. She's like, well, so you're here to surrender? No.
No, she's like, I just wanted to talk. She's like, well, that's too far. Like,
Yeah, we're not going to talk.
Cole's ridden off. Like, my dad's not even here.
Yeah, and she's like, okay, well, what happened? She's like, so you're okay with this? You're okay with just taking my throne? You know, even if you're not, I know you're not okay with bloodshed, but you're okay with this?
Well, yeah, because Alicent says, you know, I may have been like aggressive or mean, but I've never been like dishonest or whatever. She's like, so, but you're just okay with them taking my throne?
She's like, no, your father changed his mind. She's like, really? After 30 years of fucking saying it was me?
Yeah, just like everybody else, like Beesbury before he died
Yeah.
and shit. She just has the same arguments, and
Because she
Alicent-
really believes. Alicent really believes
Yeah.
until right now, because when she says, he said Aegon was the prince that has promised. And Rhaenyra just freaks.
Yeah,
It's like,
she's
well, did
like-
she say that?
She,
Did
well,
he
she's
say
like
that?
accepting this. She's like, did he say my name?
No.
And she's like, no.
And she gets sad, like,
He was
oh my god.
weary, but he did speak of Aegon and how he's the prince of his promise. And she's just sitting there accepting this, and she's like, wait, what? Those are the exact words he used? Was the prince we promised? And Alicent's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what are you
It's
freaking
a
out about?
story.
She's like, he was talking about Aegon the Conqueror. It's a story you used to tell.
And then Alicent realizes, like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I misinterpreted it, and now this is already so fucking far.
There's no
My
possible
crazy
way
fucking kid
I
is
can go to the council and be like, whoopsie.
Yeah, a kid has died. My grandson is dead.
Aemon
Hurt.
lost an eye.
Aemon lost
Yeah.
an eye. All this shit has happened. Your son is dead because of you know what Aemon is because she's
Yeah.
like you know my father's gone like you said, and Aemon you know what Aemon is like. Everything is so past the point of fucked up. I can't go back now.
Well, yeah, and she lists it off. She's like, he was named in front of fucking King's Landing. Like, everything's been done. We can't reverse this now. And she kind of ends it in the same kind of sense because Rhaenyra is just like, you can't, I know you, you can't be willing to just let thousands of people die because of a simple fucking mistake like this.
Yeah.
And Alicent just
She's like,
keeps
there's no
saying,
mistake.
Yeah, no. No
There's
mistake.
no mistake.
Now she's got to dig her heels in.
Yeah.
because
Now
where
I've
she's
got
at.
to ride this out.
Yeah.
And she looks like so well acted by Olivia. Both of these actresses, but Olivia Cook does look really like upset about it. Like
And
she's realizing
coming to something. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
like holy shit. What the fuck have I done?
And
I just wanted to hump a guy without fucking dragon scale. And all this shit is just God. And it does show like a real closeness and sadness between the lost friendship and she really did believe up until that point, like naively. Like, yeah, he just changed his mind. It
Yeah.
seems reasonable because she wanted to believe so bad. And Otto wanted to make her believe so bad. But even he knew, like you said.
yeah. And you know, it's who wouldn't accept a dream come true when it happens?
Yeah.
You know,
My
like
son
maybe
is
he
this.
really, you know, was thinking about it for a long time, and he realizes I'm on my deathbed. I need to let her know.
Yeah, and it's gratification for all my hard work. I'm finally, I sacrificed all this for this moment, for my son to be
To
in
bear
charge.
him fucking heirs and shit.
Yeah, and this is the moment.
Yeah.
And now, it's happened.
Yeah, and imagine just Otto when she came in and was like, he declared it. He's like,
Thank God.
I'm so glad you think that.
Yeah.
And
'Cause you were the hardest one to turn over.
yeah, we already have the plan set. And ready
Yeah,
to go.
she's like, yeah, what the fuck?
I was gonna have to send you back to Old Town.
Yeah. I'm real happy I don't have to.
She does do, Alicent does do other courtesy. She's like, you need to get out of here before you get spotted.
When she could have easily just been like, guards!
Or left and then told the guards, you
Yeah.
know. Because like she said, I'll kill you. You holler in front of me, you
Yeah.
know. And that's the ending. There's been no mistake. Get the hell out of here. Because this is our last.
Meeting.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to war.
I didn't think about
Cole's
that
on the
first.
march, Aemon.
You know what he is.
Yeah.
Are they saying Aemon's like to the flip a coin thing? He's
I think-
the wackadoo?
Well, I think so. I think he has the rage. I think Aegon's got it bad too. But he's a little stupider. He'll make, like, mistakes.
Well, it's
Where
also
Aemon
trying
is
to
like a
show
real
his
threat.
innocence. What it was doing with him and him and Otto
Mhm.
in the when they were doing I forget what they call it, like the people come and ask for shit.
Yeah.
And he's trying to do
Be nice.
Yeah,
And good. And it's just, like, against what's going to work.
yeah.
And I think it's Aemon is calculated. And he's got the biggest power in the world at his fingertips. Like, yeah, he listens to us because we now. But if he really wanted to, he could jump on Rhaegar and kill us all.
Yeah, and he's starting to get that complex of I have a dragon. Daemon is fearful of me because
Yeah.
he sent somebody to kill
I
me. in
am
his
a
sleep.
badass.
Yeah,
I'm a real badass.
yeah,
Their most badass warrior is scared of me.
yeah.
And I'm just a fucking kid.
And it bugs me when they do their like next episode or whatever sneak preview.
On this
They're
one,
giving
yeah.
you glimpses like the whole season. Like in the first one, they would show shit that
Dragons
still
blowing
hasn't came
fire.
in the actual season.
Dragons blowing fire.
Yeah, or mad marches of men like, against castles and shit.
people covered in blood and stress, and it's just nothing.
But we'll see it and we'll
And we will
review
let you know.
it.
And we will see you guys next week.